Welcome back, guys, to another Motovlog with Feb. As you can tell, there's probably a couple things different about this Motovlog. First off, I am on a dirt bike. Second off, I am actually doing a voiceover. I made the mistake on thinking that I plugged in my microphone when I did not. So this whole entire time I am riding with the microphone in my helmet and supposedly plugged in, but when I went to go check, it is not actually plugged in all the way. So this is Willow River. This is going to be about an hour and a half, 2 hours northeast of where I currently live in Blaine. It's a pretty good trail. It's about, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, even though you guys probably don't know, I think it's about 40 miles. It's either 29 or 40 miles of trails. I don't quite remember. I think it's 29. 40 seems maybe a little big, but it takes a while to go through everything. So we're sitting at about the last hour of riding here, or last quarter of riding, I should say. We had a couple issues throughout the day. The first issue was my bike started up fine, one kick started right up, and then we had an issue where it would die when I would slow down. So after fumbling with that for about half hour, we figured out what the issue was. My screw in my carburetor was getting loose. It's like a pilot screw, so you can turn it to get more air or less air. What's going on here? I think this is when I was telling him. I think this is a little too... Because prior to this moment, his bike died. Well, he almost just crashed there. But prior to this moment, his bike actually died because he got water in his carburetor. Because his air filter isn't... what's the word I'm looking for? Water can get in there. It's not fully sealed, I guess. There's some cracks in it. The previous owner cut the air box, so water can kind of get in there if you go through a big enough puddle. So we were trying to avoid it at all costs. But anyways, back to my bike. So there's a screw on there which messes with the air fuel mixture. It's not your idle screw. It's a special screw. It's a aftermarket carburetor, so it was getting loose. So it was getting loose to the point where if I wasn't giving it gas, it would just die because the fuel air mixture was thrown way out. It was way too much air going in there. So we were able to jimmy rig it. We put pretty much duct tape all around the screw, and we held the screw in place. And then my bike ran great ever since that moment. But then, so we had the issue with my friend's bike. He's, for anybody that's interested, I'm riding a YZ250F. It's going to be a 4-stroke. It's 2005. And then my buddy over here, I think it's a 94 CR250, which is going to be a Honda CR250. It's a 2-stroke. But anyway, so he got water in his car. We had to pretty much tear his whole bike apart to clean his car out. And then after that, we got back on the trails and started riding some more. And then, well, the moment hasn't happened yet, so I'll tell you when we get there. But okay, so we got some UTV riders right up here. Those ones are kind of small. We've seen some bigger ones on the trails, and sometimes they go balls out, but glad didn't get sprayed by any water or anything, because that's always kind of terrible. And it rained the day before, so it was really wet. Like everywhere we went is just full of water. So, and it was the first time out this year too, so you know, there's quite a bit of rust. There's rust you gotta get out, and a dirt bike is a lot different than a sport bike, as in the way the bike handles. The bike handles a lot more squirrely, I guess you can say. It's more wild than a sport bike. A sport bike is very in tune with the ground. You don't feel it slipping all over the place. With a dirt bike, it's just all over the place. You're really just giving it gas and brake and kind of trying to tilt it in where you want to go, but otherwise the bike can pretty much do whatever it wants. It's very free in that way. Alright, so, oh, okay. So up here there was a big puddle, as you can see, to the left, and it looks like some people made a trail around it, so we took the trail, and it looks like we just kept going off trail for a bit. A little off-road there, and voila, we have another big ass puddle. So, bam, and timber. There we go. No, no. Ugh. They are not light. I think the 2005 YZ. Okay, so you can actually kind of hear me there for a little bit. I just pretty much just said this is getting rough, and this area is getting rough, and then he said at least we're running. So, but yeah, there's a big rut there. The bike weighs probably like, I think it's like 300 pounds, something like that. And as you can see, where the bike stopped was a lot more elevated than where my foot was. So when I went to put my foot down, the bike was, it was too high. I couldn't keep it up. As it stands right now, the bike is almost, I think it's just above, just a little lower than my hip. So it's really tall. It's taller than his bike, so third kick should be it right here. Yep, there we go. No, I guess not third kick. Maybe fourth kick. One more kick. There we go. So yeah, I think we just continue downward here. Another lovely puddle. Like I said, man, there was so much puddles this day. It sucked. It's not fun when there's puddles. I mean, one nice thing about puddles, it makes the riding a lot more, makes the riding less slippery, I guess, if that makes sense, because the ground is more compact. The dirt isn't all loose, but it tends to be a lot more bumpy. So you get the leisure of the bike not swaying left, the back end swaying left and right, but you do get the more bumpy nature, and you get soaked. By the end of this, my clothes were just drenched. I took everything out. I took my shirt off, took my socks off, squeegeed, water just kept coming out. So basically, this is where earlier during the day where we parked, there was a truck. Well, where we parked the trucks, back by the woods. You could say that there was a hole like this, but they pretty much covered up. But you could tell there was a remnants of something similar. He was saying that when he came a couple weeks prior, that it was like that. It was just like what we just saw. So he was just saying, "Oh, that's what I was talking about over there. What it was before they filled it up." So the trail we're on right here, it's not a very long, I guess I should say it's a very long, straight one. It's not one of the very big ones. This one is pretty much straight from the parking lot. This one leads to a restaurant up here at the very end. A restaurant, a couple small businesses. Actually, funny note, today on my way to work, I actually heard that they had to evacuate Willow River, is where we're riding right now, because the dam, they've got so much rain the past couple days that the dam is possibly about to break, about to break. So they had to evacuate everybody in the town just to be safe, because if it goes, everybody in the town, you know, it's not gonna be good. It's a lot of water, I guess, so must be pretty serious if they had to evacuate the town. So here's okay, it looks like we have a realty place to the right. This restaurant is right here in the corner. We ate here last year when we were riding. It's a pretty good food, decent decor. I think right here we're just talking about where we're gonna go next, or what the plan is. Yeah, so it looks like we're just going to turn around here and head back. you see that house right there, or that trailer that guy's pulling? It's actually a ice house. People use them. You can get them so they are good for multi-seasons, but that's a really nice ice house. You just bring it to where you want, and it has like hinges on the wheels. Well, not hinges. I don't know quite how it works, but you pretty much park where you want it, and then it just lowers down onto the ice. So that's nice. Here I was playing around. I was starting to get more comfortable. We haven't, like I said, first time out for the year, and haven't been out for a while, so it takes some time to get warmed up and comfortable with everything. So I was just popping little tiny wheelies and playing around with the bike. Coming up, I actually end up going through the puddle, through a really big puddle, and I just got drenched. That's probably when I got the most wet. Like for the most part, most of the day it was pretty much just like, I'd say waist down I was soaked. Everything else was pretty dry. But after I went through that big puddle, I got completely soaked. And like I said, at first we were kind of going around because we didn't want to get too wet, and he didn't want to take on any water in his carb again, so he was avoiding every single one. But as the day went on, or I should say as the hour went on, I actually got sick of going around every single one, so I started cutting through more of it. That's one nice thing about a 4-stroke. It's a little easier to handle in weirder situations because the power is always consistent. It's a more gradual or a more linear power compared to a 2-stroke. It tends to just be low and then it shoots up drastically. That's the big comparison between the two. They call that a power band. Like there's a certain part in your RPM range that the power is located. Compared to a 4-stroke, your power is pretty much always there, always ready to be used. So yeah, this is where I just got sick of waiting, so I just started going through all of them. For the most part, I kind of went off to the side on that one, but... And I think this is where I was just waiting for him to go ahead of me. Usually I ride in front, but today I was pretty much taking the back seat. That way, because his bike was having a lot of issues throughout the day. So I decided it'd be best if I stayed behind and just to keep an eye on him, and that way if he died I would know, instead of always having to look back and see where he's at and see if he died or not. It's kind of sad that I'm not able to show you actually more of the trails. This is only one little part of the whole trail that you're actually seeing. Hopefully next time we go you'll see a lot more. This is all straight pretty much, so I mean that's kind of boring, but like I said, next time I'll definitely get more of the trail, and hopefully it's a nicer day and you guys can see more, and it can be a little bit more of an exciting video than just me talking and me driving straight pretty much, besides weaving in and out. Yeah, that's where I got drenched with water. It just came up everywhere. I didn't think it was going to be as deep as it was, and it ended up being pretty deep. So that wasn't quite a whole lot of fun, but it's always exciting though. Well, riding a dirt bike I think is a lot more exciting than riding a street bike. You don't have to worry about cops or anything. You just get to have fun, do whatever, enjoy yourself. So basically, he just said that his bike died again, and I just told him that I got splashed, as you could kind of hear, maybe a little bit, because I was yelling pretty loud. But alright guys, I think that's actually going to be end of this episode. Hopefully I'll have another one up in the next week or two. We'll probably go back to street bike, back to the R1 that time. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to get some more dirt bike ones out there. And hit that like, subscribe, and follow, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night, everybody.